Hey guys, Matt here with Juice Joyrides, and today we have the Lyric Cycles VOODOO. So this will be a first impressions ride with a prototype version of the Lyric Cycles, and this is actually, it will be a 72 volt electric bike in production. This model right here that I have is a 60 volt version, but we're on our way to go over and pick up the 72 volt limited edition 305 Ghost edition of this bike. So along the way here, I will be sharing my thoughts and experience on this bike. So we'll see what kind of top speed this bike can actually do. They claim that it can do 65 miles an hour, I believe it is. I have a link below this video over to the official listing for this bike, as well as any sort of discount code and promotion I can give you guys if you're interested in scooping one up. So first impressions on this thing. So it's a 3,000 watt continuous output motor, 18,000 watts continuous. And right here, we can see the power being displayed right here on the dashboard. And we'll kind of ease into it here. The brakes on this bike are excellent. These are like some legit real motorcycle brakes. So, you know, I'm tired of dealing with these Saran brakes I've been riding with, you know, basically bicycle brakes on a motorcycle. This light's never going to change for me, so I'm going to pop up here, bust the UE. Now this bike, to start things off, I'll tell you, it's a twist throttle. It has a regenerative brake, progressive regen brake right here. And there's some different modes and stuff. We'll just kind of ride it and feel it out and see what it's all about. So let's just start off here. And I'll let you guys know right now, this is a prototype. This is not the final version, so this thing is like a little bit loose. We'll see what it's like on the Ghost that we're about to go pick up. But the battery is down here, and right now, this thing, at this point in the prototype phase, really doesn't serve any purpose. But, you know, I think they're gonna have this hashed out and worked out for when the actual bike is ready to go out and be shipped in the spring. So cruising along here, this is a very high power bike, 18,000 watts. That's like more than my Saran. It's a hub drive, and this battery's 60 volt. Like I said, we'll pick up the 72 volt here in just a few. But let's get a feel for what this thing can do. So first observations, the suspension on this thing is nice. Going over those speed bumps. It does have rear suspension on this bike as well as front suspension. And right now, I believe that this bike is being limited somehow. Let me try the regen brake. So the regen brake on this one is not seem to be functioning right now. Let me switch over these modes. So there is different modes here. Okay, so I think I was on like a lower power setting. I was on like 1. We'll have it on 5 now. So I believe this is the max power now. Let's see what it'll do now. Oh yeah, that makes a huge difference now. Okay, we're gonna have to get on that 72 volt version because this one is not accelerating as quickly as I was expecting. So let's ride this over and meet Andy with Lyric Cycles, and I'll just explain like how this bike feels to ride as we go. The handling on this bike though is really cool. Like, it just feels like a super lightweight motorcycle. It's like so nimble and tossable. I think that, you know, the power on this one is manageable. I could actually hold my phone and probably not lose it. So GPS, I hope you guys can read this. We'll do wide open throttle. I'm gonna lean forward just a bit and go. I eased on the throttle a little bit there. So, I mean, it accelerates pretty darn good. But again, you know, 72 volt version is gonna do significantly better. Let's go get that bike. So I've gotta say, coming from a Saran, I love the silence of this bike. The hub motor makes absolutely no noise whatsoever that I can hear anyway. Let's give it a little juice. So it is a 18,000 watt motor, 3,000 continuous. So it'll give you like a spike of about 5,000 on this bike. and then it drops down to the nominal voltage. And the brakes on this thing are really, really, really fantastic. So this one is about $6,000. The Ghost 305 version, it will all have the 72 volt powertrain with the 50 amp hour battery. So 50 amp hours on 72 volts, that is a massive battery. I wish I had that on my Saran. You should be getting some epic range and epic top speeds out of this. I know I keep saying it, but like I'm super stoked to actually swap this one out for the 72 volt version. So I grabbed this blue one last night from Andy because it was my understanding it had the 72 volt battery in it. And I just really, really like the look of the blue frame on this bike. And I thought that it might be the more popular choice considering it's $500 cheaper and, you know, had the same motor and, you know, the color. Now I guess the Ghost 305 version, that one has an upgraded suspension and there's a few other minor differences with it. So riding this thing around, man, like even on 60 volts, this thing is really fun. Merging into traffic. So from my understanding, the limited edition 305 Ghost we're about to pick up will be limited to only 305 units. So if you want to reserve your copy for one of those, reserve your place to get one of those, you can click the link in the description box below this video. And if you did reserve or buy through my link, it would help support Juice Joyrides, which I would greatly appreciate if you are planning on getting one of these. If not, that's totally cool. I know there's lots of other cool bikes out there too. So there are pedals on this bike. I'm not really sure why. Well, I think we all know the reason why, but it's not the kind of pedals you're going to be using to actually pedal this bike. I forget the exact weight. I'm not even going to take a guess. So let's talk about the comfort. The seat on this bike is quite comfortable, actually. I like that it's wide. It's definitely a very beautiful looking seat. And the suspension, the Fast Ace rear shock is doing a really good job eating up all of the road chatter and stuff, as well as the front suspension. So, I mean, this bike is definitely tuned to be ridden on the street, I would say. And from what I remember, you know, I test drove the Onyx RCR. That bike felt a little bit of a harsh ride. From what I can remember, this one feels like a little bit nicer of a cushy ride. And I do think that this bike could give the Onyx RCR a run for its money. We'll have to see when we get on the 72 volt. All right, we need to pick up this 72 volt bike now. Oh man, I just can't get over the brakes. I mean, it feels like really nimble and comfortable. Like this bike is genuinely awesome, and I'm really just waiting on Andy to come on out and give me the 72 volt bike so we can really see what this thing's made of. All right, we are on the 72 volt Lyric Cycles Ghost 305 limited edition. Let's turn this bad boy on. Now they told me the power on this thing is actually restricted and tuned down a little bit compared to what we're gonna get on the actual final result here that we'll be shipping in the springtime. Battery life on this one is 77.2 volts, so that would be roughly 70% charge, so it's not a full charge either. Anyway, let's get on this thing and feel it out a little bit. It's basically the same bike though as we were just on. I'll show you what this one looks like in a moment. Yeah, it feels the same pretty much. Let's go in this parking lot here and mess around a little bit before we go on the streets. So yeah, pretty much same exact form factor. Yeah, same brakes, or they feel the same anyway. And 72 volt. Now they said, you know, we can't really do top speed or acceleration tests on it. It's pretty much just to feel it out, what it feels like to ride, because everything is tuned down a little bit compared to what it will be in its final form. So yeah, back brake here. I just want to make sure. Back brake is on the left side. And you know, oh, these pedals actually don't even work at, oh yeah, they do work. Oh, no, they don't work. All right. Yeah, this is a very prototype version. So just to give it a little juice off the line here. Oh yeah, okay, I can tell a huge difference going to the 72 volt version of this bike, even though it is limited still. I feel like the front wheel is about to come off the ground, honestly. I don't want to do anything too crazy right out the gate, but this bike feels very impressive, even in its tuned down version. And I think this VOODOO Ghost 305, or even the standard one, because they're both going to be 72 volts, is really going to give the Onyx RCR a run for its money, because this thing is a really good looking bike. Wow, this is a lot of fun. I can tell a huge difference in the acceleration compared to that 60 volt non-production. You'll never see the 60 volt version of that bike ever released. They'll all be 72. So let's get out for a little cruise here. Maybe ride on down to Venice on the beach path a little bit. I don't even know if I should be taking this thing on the beach path. Like this is a straight up motorcycle. Wow. Dude! So yeah, I could tell the power kind of cuts off once you get up the speed. Dude, this thing is sweet. My goodness. Okay, let's take it on down to Venice on the beach path. I'm gonna feel a little bit sketchy riding this thing out there. I mean, dude, this thing, it feels like a motorcycle. This is a motorcycle. Oh, bring it in the bike lane. Why not? I'm gonna pedal this bike through as a pedestrian. All right, I feel a little sketchy about bringing this thing on the bike path because, I mean, yeah, it's a bike, right? So I'll be uploading another video with the Lyric 305 Ghost here soon, so I'll catch you on that video.